Okay, trading psychology, like I said, I think it's important to discuss it because if your mind is not right, if you can't control your thoughts, you can't control your actions. And stock market will get you to the highest level of positivity, or you just depress. It's going to make you very, very emotional. We have all been through it, and some probably still going through it. You know, I might have my day here and there, but it's not a common thing for me, like it was when I initially started trading or whatever. So the agenda today is just what is trading psychology, why, you'll see the why, neglecting trading psychology, mastering trading psychology. I didn't realize I put trading in here so many times, but it's okay. Creating the trading plan and mindfulness. So what is trading psychology? It's pretty much emotions. It refers to the emotions. Um, it refers to the emotions and mental state that help dictate success or failure in trading. Like if you're emotional, you're just not gonna operate right. Like how many of us has not been okay for the day, and then we still decided to trade, and then what? And then you got red, and then now your day is fully messed up. You already knew your mind wasn't right, and then you just gonna jump in this trade, and then now your mind really ain't right because who want to lose money? Prices is high, gas is high, rent is high, like everything high. So when you losing money, like it's not a good feeling. So if your emotions is off, you're not gonna trade, right? And the common emotions, we know fear and greed, hope. How many we see people hoping, like I hope that this get me back to break even so I can get out this trade. And sometimes it get you back to break even. You be like, you know what? I'm back to break even. Let me stay in this trade a little longer and see if I can make some gains. And then here you go back down. Now you back here hoping that it get back because you're gonna get out for real this time. And you just, it's just a never ending cycle and just regret because like, damn, I know I should have just went to the gym instead of taking one more trade. Like you up here, you regretting it because you trading and now you done lost some profit. So all of those emotions just runs through like with everybody. You're not too advanced of a trader to not feel some sort of emotion because nobody is perfect. You just might as you get more advanced, you'll learn to master it better. So discipline and risk management, we talk about this so much and it's just appalling that people just still um don't take like heed to it for lack of better words. I feel like I sound like an old person saying heed. But you gotta, have that. If you're not disciplined, then how can you be successful? If you don't have risk management, like unless you rich, you trying to go broke, trying to because you don't got no risk management, you keep on. It's a never ending cycle. So all of trading psychology, you just gotta you gotta get your mind right. And why? Everybody I'm sure everybody has done this. Why the fuck did I take that trade? Why? Why did you take it? A lot of times you ask yourself why because you down in the trade, you falling on somebody, you just jumped in the trade, you didn't have any rhyme or reason to get in the trade, and then now you in here having regrets, and then you now and that's starting to take away from your mental capital because now you're sitting here trying to hope that the trade goes the way that you want it to go, and so then you can get out, and then when you should have never been in. And why didn't you take the trade? That's FOMO. you know why? I mean, because a lot of people like, damn, I should have got in, or you just, yet you lacking confidence. Like why didn't you get in the trade? Everybody want to get in the trade when it's going the way it's supposed to go, Everybody,
Mm-hmm.
the emotions is there like, damn, then you be like, man, when I looked on the hourly told it, why didn't I get in? You just didn't have the confidence. And and why don't you have the confidence? Is it because you didn't have and a lot of times it might be because you just didn't have a trading plan set up, and you're just trying to lean on somebody to help you out until you know some people just want to lean on somebody forever. I don't want to do that. If you're gonna lean on somebody forever, you might as well get a job, because it isn't the point to be a trader to become independent. So you're not dependent on somebody to tell you what to do, because that's just pretty much what it is when you're, taking stuff from other people. That's one of the reasons why I just keep my mentorship like m- my Discord like mentorship only, because I'm not a hand holder. I'm going to tell you what you need to know. I'm going to walk you through. Imma give you, what my thoughts are, and then help you understand. And then when you get in, you continue to see the repetitiveness of what I taught now on full view, and then you can get it. You can get it yourself. And that's just how I roll as a mentor, because I'm independent. I know how to do it. If you really want to be successful, you're gonna learn how to do it too. And why did I try to get a screenshot instead of taking profits? How many people done lost money trying to take a screenshot? And then the screenshot ain't even what you made. But you gonna post it, but now on the back end you done lost profit trying to take a screenshot. Like if you really want to talk about the money you made, why not take the screenshot after you made the profit? You know what I'm saying? Because you want to. Well, like, what's the point? You wanna be mentioned in the games, like, what you wanna do? Screenshots don't pay. It's the money that's moving up and down that's what pay. And, I'm never been a screenshot person. Like, I'll post here and there, but I'm not on that type of time, because, it's not that serious, and impressing people that kill your profits, Tranny. Tell them your profits is dead. They need a screenshot. You like, post again. So why you and taking a screenshot? If the goal is to show money, just take the picture after you locked in money, and you could still show you made money. Like it ain't never too late to show that you made money or lost it. But we it's just the way of the trading life. So um what does neglecting trading psychology do? Selling winners quickly. We all who done sold winners, who done been in SPX was like, man, I got an SPX at point 0.7. Them contracts done went up to $3,200. Like if you an XPX trader, you already know. Like I done told people like that's a never ending like, damn, I should have held. I used to always be like, this is what I would have made every time I used to trade SPX. Like I have a screenshot in my phone now because I was talking to somebody about it a couple of days ago. Like the contracts I bought was like at point 0.7. And then they they was at like I want to say like $2,400 later. And it was just like a never ending thing. But you selling quick, you nervous, you're not right. Oh yeah, yeah. Daryl, yes, we was talking about that. Oh yeah, yeah, because Friday you did say you watched but you did apply your strategy, but you did, watch it, selling winners quickly though. We all been there before, and it creates a sense of FOMO where you feel like, you know what, this trade is still moving up, so let me jump in. And then you done bought high about to sell low because you chasing. And then holding losers and hoping for recovery. I don't know how many times I done seen hope and how many times I done seen some of y'all use hope is not gonna help that trade. You when you hoping, you don't care about what the chart is telling you. you can only care about just go in my favor. No, you don't. When you holding losers, like, you need to start looking at the chart. And that's where like, the lack of trading psychology comes from, because it's a lot of, it's so many different things. Like, if you're holding that loser and you're asking people, okay, should I get out? We all been there before. So, but I'm just trying to help people who, if you still there, like, you just kind of need to understand why you still there, and you need to try to do this to move forward. Um, I'm telling you, you be praying like, God, please let me out. It's kind of like, I don't know if y'all came from a home where your parents used to beat you, about to get a beating, and you like, Mom, please, I promise I ain't gonna do it no more. Like, please. It's just the equivalent of the of the market. Like, you just hoping and praying. Hell, I done been there before, like, damn, like, let me get out, and then it comes a point that you just, you know, if you're down bad, you have nothing in place for yourself. You have no stop loss set. You have nothing there but hope. And fortunately, the market makers are ruthless. They're atheists. They don't give a damn. You can pray, you can hope, you can wish. They don't care nothing about that. So it ain't, it's you gotta think like smart money when you trading. That's always been a thing that you have to do. And then following the crowd, because y'all see people, you just, oh, everybody in CCL, let me jump in CCL, because I see people in there. Okay, it must be popping. Nvidia, let me get Nvidia. You just have, especially if it's a stock that had earnings. Yeah, just chase. If it's a stock that had earnings, it's like you in there, you ready for 9:30 and 15 seconds in for them contracts to um to settle down so you can get a decent fill. And here you are, you just chasing. All you know is that the stock price shot up because, like, Nvidia shot up because it's doing a 10-1 split. So that's all you know. You ain't looking at technicals. You just like, okay, this done shot up. I know it's moving good pre-market. I know it's gonna keep moving good. When the market come in, here you go trading. I mean, go chasing, following, following the crowd. Like, you can't do that. You gotta think for yourself. And of course, we know over trading, revenge trading. You done made $2,000 off of 7 trades. Why you need 5 more trades? Like, why you keep trading? You trying to get rich. What are you trying to do? I know it was one day I overtraded and I did not, like, I made it out green. And this was a couple of months ago because the market was the market was lit that day. It kind of was like a similar move to like the move Friday. The move Friday was bananas. But I just was not impressed at all. Like, I was like, I should have been up more. I just kept getting in and out of trades, and then I was just, over trading. And you got people who just continue, just like, what are you trying to do? You have no goals. That's when you're missing goals. That's when you're missing, that's that discipline that you need, that risk management. And y'all know this, but I feel like it's so important. If you look at the market over the last couple of months, especially like the last 2 or 3 months, especially if you're trading options, it has been very difficult for a lot of option traders to trade. A lot of option traders to trade, and it all boils down to trading psychology. Like, do I need to trade today? What is your goal? What is your discipline? What is your risk management? Why are you forcing trades? It is it's nothing to trade. For and even with my mentees, I specifically told them, like, it was maybe like not last week, I think, but a week before last, and it was like consistent consecutive weeks of just trading in a range for days. And I told them, I was like, look, you need to wait for the market to break out of a range. Because when it's in a range, when it breaks out of a range, it gives a good move, especially if the volume is there. But you're trying to chase candlesticks. You know what TLC said, don't go chasing candlesticks or whatever they said. Don't. Why are you chasing? Why is you chasing? I'm telling you now, if you know, a lot of people want to switch to futures, but you can chase NQ if you want to. NQ has whiplash candlesticks all the time. It will humble you. And so you definitely need to learn discipline, need to know when to trade. Revenge trading, I done been there. One time, I think I was down like 13 cents. Literally. And I was like, you know what? Let me just go ahead and trade because I'm trying to get myself out of this red. And I think I ended the day with, down like 100 and something dollars because at that point I was like, okay, it's just 13 cents. Let me just kind of try and get in a quick trade and make that back. And this is when I was trading options. And I ain't had no plan. I just was like, oh, this look like it's about to go up. You know, because at that point, I'm just trying to get my account out that little red for the day because I ain't want to see no red. Who want to see red? And it ended up going, I got more and more negative. It's revenge trading. And the last thing, which is a lot of stuff, but FOMO. Now y'all know when Jerome Powell gets on the stand and the market moves, everybody in here making money off of SPY and QQQ, and you just seeing it and you just like, damn, I should have got in. That's another thing with following the crowd, like that and FOMO. You missing out because, of course, when he talks, and if it's a good move, I feel like last month might have been it was a phenomenal mood, or maybe it was like two FOMCs ago. Everybody was jumping in that earnings FOMO. Everybody jumping in. Even when people was in plays that were down, now it moved up. You got FOMO because you sold at 20 and 30%. Be happy that you're green. You know, FOMO is a big thing. And I want to say, like, I have not, since I've just changed my whole mentality, I don't get FOMO. Like, I literally look at if the market is moving and I'm not in a trade, I would look at it like a deer in headlights and I'd be like, damn. That's my mood now. Like, damn, okay. You know, I'm not pressed to trade it because in my mind it's just gonna always be another trade. And if I've made money for the day, then I'm just cool. You know, somebody hit me up a couple of months ago, well, probably about a month ago, and they were asking me how do I deal with um detaching myself from the market because I've been really, really good at detaching myself from the market. Like, I go do other stuff. For one, like I said, I didn't quit a 9 to 5 to be at a screen from 9 to 5. And then I told them straight up, I was just like, you know, it depends on your goals. You know, you don't need to feel like you need to make a lot of like I personally don't feel like I need to make a lot of money. When I quit my job, I was making 80,000 and I was living good. Like every job I ever got, was elevating. So when I got that job and I was making 80K, it was more than I have ever made in my life. So I was comfortable. So when I quit, I didn't have no change in my way of life really, you know, unless I'm buying trips, which is equivalent to a few Chanel bags at sometimes, you know what I'm saying? Because I love to travel, but it's just like when you hit that goal, or when you hit a small, it just depends on your goals. Honestly, you can just go about your day. Like, why do you need to sit there and continue to trade, you know? And then I also told them, you know, I run businesses too. So I have other hustles. I try to keep myself occupied so I'm not just focusing on trading, you know, because never let trading be your number one source of income. Like that is the worst mistake that you can make. And so I'm up here hustling, doing other things, because I'm a serial entrepreneur. So I don't I can easily detach from the market now. And in futures, you can trade at 23.5. I'm not up here trying to hell, I can get up 3 o'clock in the morning if I want to and make some money and go back to sleep and I'll be done for the day. So it's just so many options. So when you spread your options out and you got a lot of other stuff that you could be doing, making money after you've made money in the market, I find it easy to detach yourself. Of course, I ain't never been like that. I have never always been like that. Like I would sit at the market all day long. But once you elevate and once you just fix your mental to just be like, okay, I'm good with what I made. I can go ahead and do something else because I got other stuff to do. Then you can master it. Like you have to master your mind. I don't care what nobody tell you. I hope once we leave from here today, I hope you truly work on mastering your mind because if you don't master that, you will not handle trading well. And no disrespect to the man, but this is coming from a woman. We don't be lit in the chat like y'all do. We don't, cause we be chilling. We make our little money. We ain't got those emotions going on. So it's just take the advice. So this is what neglect and I know y'all seen a lot of them, but this is what neglect and trading psychology looks like.
I've almost been there.
Now I don't know if anybody has ever got violent, but for one, this looked like an NQ trade when news came out at 8:30. That's what that candlestick looked like. For one. For two, that does look exactly like the market on Friday because it sold all the way down and then came all the way back up. But you got violent. I say beyond. I'm telling you, I jumped in. I jumped in. I ain't care. I was like, I see a move. I jumped in. I think it was at 8. It was at like 18, 5, 10. I posted it in the chat. And I think I sold it like 18, 5, 40. I mean, but I was chasing the hill. I was good. I was green for today anyways. I didn't care. But my little again, I was trading micros. They went up to like they would have been $200 or $400 a piece. Oh, you threw your phone. See, I ain't never threw nothing. I ain't got violent. I've been emotional. I was like, I done cried before. I sure have. I've cried when I was down in a trade, and I've only took the most I've ever lost my entire time in trading was like I think it was like $2,000 in one trade. I never forget. It was Nvidia. I want to say like 35 contracts, and I got into early. Now, for me to have 35 contracts, this was when Nvidia was like 100 under 200. It was down there. I don't even watch it, but that is the most in my trading. You take a nap. Like you done got up eating like you want to go to sleep now because your mama gonna tell you behind it you sleepy. Go sleep it off after you done cry. But that was the most I ever lost. And in the same exact day, I cut my trade in the same exact day, Nvidia went right back up. I think I would have made like $4,000, but I was down 2 grand. And then that was just kind of as much as I could stomach. So I just sold it all. I didn't have any buying power. And when I seen it come back, and then it not only came back to my stop and it went above my stop, I was sick. I was sick. I was crying. I just couldn't because it just 97K. Woo! I'd be in the hospital. I'd be weak. I'd be lightheaded. When I tell you my body be going through like I'm about to have a stroke or something. If I lost, I can't. Two was and then prior to two, I was 1,000. It was just 1,000. So yeah, no, I can't do big losses. So, mastering trading psychology, aka get your mind right. Like what Jeezy said, just get your mind right. Get it right. There's always another trading day. Y'all need to write this down, write on a sticky pad, get you a whiteboard, whatever. Like you know this, but you really need to know this. Like it's always another trading day. That's how I try. If I have a if I don't trade, like it's been days, especially in the last couple of weeks, I have not traded because I had no desire to trade because the market wasn't giving me what I needed. I don't care if NQ has no, if futures has no theta. My mental capital is what I care about. So just because it has no theta, don't mean I just want to get in a trade and sit there and trade chop. If it's moving slow, I already don't trade ES like that because it's slow. So you think I'm about to trade NQ moving slow? No, I do not trade slowness. I can't deal with it. And I think that's one of the things that comes back to I try to make sure people, do you know yourself as a trader? Like I posted it in Honey Drip so many times. Do you know yourself? Because if you don't know yourself as a trader, you are not going to be successful. I know I don't like swing trading. Ever since they tanked the market, and I don't even know if I'm saying that right in this context, but you know what I'm saying. Back in 2021, right after GameStop ran up, was that 2021 or was it 2022? I think it was 2021. Right after GameStop ran up, and I was I want to say like 23. No, 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 no. I was up like maybe $15,000 in because I traded equities. Um, and then I had a mix of shares and a mix of options. And I will never forget it. I want to say it was either Valentine's Day or maybe the day before Valentine's Day. It was in February of 2021, and they sold the market off. I was down 8,000, and it was still gains, because it wasn't I had made money off of the money I put in, so it was still gains. But they was tanking the market. I was down like 8K overnight. And I just have been traumatized ever since. I do not swing trade. I know that's not my thing. I don't touch it. I don't even have a separate account for swing trading because I don't I mean, at this point I feel like swing trading, you're trying to catch that entire move. If I want to trade um futures, I can catch the move anytime. I ain't about to be stressed out for spot a whole $10 move. It was up until 9:30 and 15 seconds in. I don't want them problems. So if I can make my little money on spot on NQES prior to market and not have to worry about holding something and praying that it holds for the next day, then I do that. I'm a scalper. I am a scalper. I don't like being in trades longer than 15 minutes. Hell, I don't like being in a trade longer than 5 minutes, honestly. So I scalp. That is me as a trader. Anything outside of that drains my mental capital, and I'm not fit for I'm not fit. So we see it a lot. People getting trades they don't understand. Like I'm not even a day trader. There's several different traders. There's swing trading, day trading, scalper, and then I think it's like long-term investment. So once you know yourself as a trader, then you can find like Big Red said, find your niche because you, especially if you're following somebody, if you're taking signals, you need to understand your admin signaling style, because if you don't understand it and you just in the trade and now you got all these emotions going on because you done took a trade following somebody else, and they cool, they chilling because they know why they in the trade. You don't know why they in the trade, and you feel like the trade is going against you when it actually is probably doing what it's supposed to be doing, but because you ain't got that, psychology down, or you don't have a plan, which is the second thing, develop a trading plan. You need a trading plan. Like, you can't build a house without a foundation. Like, that shit gonna fall apart. It's like playing Jenga. You trying to build, and you gonna build it, but you take them little parts out the middle, it's it's gonna fall. Develop a trading plan. Like, you gotta have one. I have a plan. I I don't, sometimes I deviate from it. I ain't gonna lie. Especially if I just see something, I'm like it's like if it's some 8:30 news and the candlestick is going where it need to go and it's constantly going up one direction, yeah, I might jump in it. So I do jump in those trades, but I think it's just a natural thing. It's not how I trade all the time. It might be something else. It might be like a one-off here and there, but I still stick with my trading plan majority of the time. Build confidence through knowledge. Always learn. Learn. I steady learn to even today, even over the weekend. I'm steady learning so I can make my life even simpler with trading. I'm very curious. So if I can simplify a process even more and then I can tell other people about it, then I'm gonna do that. And keep a trading journal. Just know how trading, you gotta have a trading journal. Like like Kendrick said it best, you can never right your wrongs unless you write them down, you know? And so if you constantly you like, oh, I've been trading for 2 years and I still don't know what I'm doing, well, hell, have you wrote it down? Have you did an analysis? Have you looked at your weaknesses? What have you done? You know? What have you done to make sure you get your shit together as a trader? I love trading. I love it. I've been trading full time 2 years, and it has given me the life that I want to live. And so I'm going to do what I need to do to try and be to try and make sure I'm a good trader. Because if this is what I want to do and not work a 9 to 5, then I'm going to do it. And no moron trades. Who knows what a moron trade is? A lot of people do it. Like, if you in that trade and it's going down, why are you putting more on? Don't put no more on that trade, that losing trade. You steady averaging down and you ain't got no more buying power. And then so no more on trades. Just don't do it to yourself. Um, and then you can just create a trading plan. I'm almost done. Trini is gonna come to the stage. I hope I ain't putting him on blast. So he's gonna talk a little bit, but your create a trading plan. What are your goals? What are your goals? So I'm just going just touch as far as what I do briefly on this. So I my goals are I don't when adding to a winning trade, you want to make sure it's a big I think you want to make sure it's a big gap in the winning trade, because when you add, you're averaging up. So, I mean, I would say if it's kind of right there, it's a winning trade. Like if it's kind of still near Okay, let me let Dream do that. So goals, my goals are I just want to make a certain amount of money, every day. That's my goals, and I keep that as a focus. Like if know, I tell them 20 to 40 point move is good for me. If I get a 20 point move, a 30 point move, I'm good. That's my goal. That is how I run with NQ. Risk management. I try to use a stop loss. Mine are mental, but I don't want to lose more than $200 a day. That's my cutoff with futures. You always know what you're going to make if it goes up or goes down. And so if I'm losing that amount, I'll say between $200 and $400 because NQ can go down $200 before it goes up. So within that range, that is what I stick to. Market focus. I love futures, so I'm going to trade it. If you trade options, that's the market you need to focus on. You need to focus on the stocks. What is your strategy? I have a few different strategies that I use when I am trading, and if my strategy does not fall in that category for the day, I don't trade it because it's not my strategy. Discipline. I don't know. I think futures has taught me a lot more discipline because I feel like for one, NQ will always give you 100+ move a day. 100+ move a day. If you trade a minis, that's 2K you can make in a day if you was to catch a full $100 plus move. I can make $400 and I'm good. And that's off of a 20-point move. So I feel like it gives me discipline because it gives me more opportunity to make money and to make money quick. So options, you kind of have to wait. If it ain't had you ain't took it in the first 30 minutes, then you might have to wait till the afternoon, or you might be done if you hadn't caught that, and you have to, several different tickers are playing out on options. Whether you're like, damn, I missed Meta looking at AMD, you know what I'm saying, or I missed Nvidia looking at Tesla. Whereas NQ, like, I ain't missing it looking at nothing else because that's my focus. So I think it just kind of probably taught me a lot of discipline, and then just keep learning. It don't matter because the market is always changing. I know a lot of people who well, we all was supposed to get rich in 2020, but we didn't. So we trying to, well, some people did, but I missed the bus. I missed the the thing. So a lot of people were forced to really learn how to trade once the Fed stopped printing money. And so I say that to say just always learn, because if the market kind of changes, if it goes into a little stage of consolidation that you're not really used to, but some people are used to, then you'll know how to trade it. If it goes on a run for some, which I don't know if it's ever going to go on a run, or because it's just been a lot of unpredictability for the last over a year. So I don't think a lot of people thought that this kind of up and down would happen so long in the market, but it has kind of been like that for a minute. So just keep learning so that you'll know. Oh, and the last thing that I just want to go over, if you have never heard of the Headspace app, download it. You may think it's crazy. Mindfulness will bring you you implement all those things, but mindfulness, which is the practice of intentionally focusing one's attention on the present moment while calmly acknowledging and accepting one's feelings, thoughts, and bodily sensations. Don't let your mind, do something crazy with that last one. And it's often used as a therapeutic technique to reduce stress, improve mental clarity, and enhance overall well-being. Excuse me. Headspace. I love the app. I stumbled upon this app a couple of years ago because I was looking at other ways. I was trying to kind of meditate. I was trying to kind of open my mind just to be able to handle my thoughts better. And I actually Googled, and it was a app that a lot of athletes used. And I was like, okay, so if the athletes using it, let me download it. It's phenomenal. You may think you like meditation, you may think it sound odd, but try it because you have to have your mind right. You have to. If you in the gym, you're not trading. So yeah, the gym might take the stress off, but in that moment of trading, how can you get your mind right in that moment? Not well, I'm gonna think about the gym. You have to focus on something that can help you get your mind together. I recommend it. It worked for me, and it wasn't in reference so much to trading. It was in reference to me having my mind together. So Big Red, no, I didn't use it specifically for trading, but if you can control your mind, I think this is just if you can control your mind, you can really find peace in anything because you're not trading all the time. You have to if your mind is not it can help you find peace on the weekend. Something might hit you and throw you off and then your mind's fucked up, but it can help you if your mind is right. It's not getting your mind right specific to trading. It's getting your mind to understand things. Like if you have a bad trade, it helps you look at things differently from a different perspective. And it lets you, know that your thoughts can exist in your mind without you having emotions tied to them. So I think it's good. I think I've seen one that's called the Calm app. I haven't used it, but I recommend downloading the app and giving it a try. You know, these things help me like I said, if my mind is right and I'm looking at things in a different perspective, if it's help me train my mind to look at it like that, I'm able to look at trading different. I'm able to look at losses different. I'm able to take a step back and analyze my red day instead of feeling like it's the end of the world. I'm able to operate. I'm able to control maintain discipline with the trading plan. I'm able to follow these things because it gives you don't want to be stressed when you're doing anything in life. So if you're trying to trade to make money because you want this to be your forever thing, then you need to do whatever you need to do to get your mind right. Follow a trading plan, get your mind right. And that's all I have. So Trendy, you can come up to the stage because I'm finished. Anybody ask me some questions, I can get to them later. I can answer them on IG or whatever the case is. So, or I can stick
Oh,
around if anybody got questions. But that later. But Trini, you go ahead.
okay. All right. Hey, appreciate it. Appreciate you let me speak. Like I said, when you posted the link, I was like, hey, you know what? Let me go show my support, right? Because I know you from being around Honey Drip, and I was there when you were. I think at that time you were still trading options, and you were
Hmm.
always dropping. I mean, your technical analysis was always on point. You would drop it and say, hey, boom, boom, and then things would play out, and then that's why you became known as like the Nvidia. What do you call it? The
The Nvidia Queen.
Nvidia queen, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, when I,
I had to
when you
upgrade her.
you started teaching, started teaching, you moved to futures, started teaching it, and then I saw you were doing it. So like, hey, let me just, show my support, show up, and so I appreciate you letting me speak. For everybody else in the room, I don't know how many of y'all are in Honey Drip, but you probably see me around there, Trini Trader. I'm a quote unquote OG.
Sarcasm, getting them together. Like, why you ain't go to Google?
Hey, quote unquote OG in the chat room. I'm always you see me in there always trying to help people out with the technical analysis and market structure or just overall market sentiment. Whatever. I try to help as much as I can, but I'll try to stay on topic of this, which is trading psychology. So one of the big things that she mentioned was a trading plan or a playbook, right? Like when I first started out, I didn't understand the significance of knowing like, hey, like what are you good at, like what are your strong points, right? So if you're like, okay, boom, I like trading. Let's just say if you're a pattern trader and you're like, hey, I like trading bull flags. All right. So you like trading bull flags. Okay. So what's the probability of a bull flag playing out? Is it 70%? Is it 80%? Like that's something you should research. Like, hey, this, for bull flag patterns, I mean, you can, I use Google. I went to go look it up, right? So like if your thing is bull flags, okay, so I want to, anytime I see a bull flag, I'm going to be interested in trading it. Like, what am I looking for, right? And you pretty much create like a playbook. Like in my playbook, like, hey, I know that a bull flag gives me a 70% chance of it going in, if of it breaking out to the upside, right? And then you go research some examples of when bull flags happened, and you look at, okay, what was the candle pattern like? What was the volume like? Like, and whether you want to screenshot it and print it off or whatever, but you get a couple examples of it, like, hey, and you put that in your playbook. You could have, like, let's say, 5 screenshots of bull flags that played out, and what were the things that were the same about them that made that play work, right? So that way, the next time, like when you're trading and you see a bull flag, or you automatically key into like, oh, this is in my playbook. I'm looking for a big extension candle up. I'm looking for 3 to 4 pullback candles. I want to see the volume decreasing on those pullback candles. And then all of that plays out and that pullback is coming towards what, either a previous support or a previous resistance that's now looking like it's going to become support, or it's pulling back to one of my moving averages, I'm going to take it. I'm going to take it because I know it has a high rate. And that's where you build confidence, and you will find more and more you will be willing to put money on the line to see if that trade's going to play out. And that affects your psychology, because like she was saying earlier, like, you're going to have those times when you're like, man, why didn't I get in that trade? And it looks like a perfect bull flag, but like, why didn't I get in? Well, maybe you didn't study it enough, right? Or you haven't documented enough examples of it. So that's why having a defined trading plan, having a playbook, helps you to have more confidence. And the more confidence you have, you know, you and risk management is going to allow you to be willing to get into these trades, um, get into the trades, and knowing like, hey, you already know what your downside is. You're like, okay, if I'm patient and I wait for my entry point, I get in, I know I'm risking this much on a trade. Right? Like when I trade futures, when I trade NQ, I trade with a stupid tight stop. My stop is like freaking what? My stop loss is usually like $160, right, on one contract. So I get in, boom, and I know I've already mentally prepared myself. Like, if I get in here, I'm getting in at support. If it goes down, $160 is how many points? 5, 6, 7 points. Oh, 8 points. So I know if it goes back 8 points against me, then I know that, hey, my entry was not the greatest. Right? I mean, it is kind of a tight stop for NQ, but that's what I trade with, makes me comfortable. Patience. Patience is huge, and that's why I think a lot of people should trade futures before they trade options. And it usually happens the other way around. But if you trade futures first, it teaches you to be so patient, especially if you're trading minis. And the big reason why is because the drawdown on a full mini is a lot, right? If you get in,
Amen.
if you get in early, like, what I'm saying? Because you can have the direction right, but if you get in at the wrong time, you're still wrong. You could look at a chart and say, oh shit, and you can say, oh shoot, I think NQ is going to go up and hit this level. But if you get in too early, right, you can get caught in a pullback. And with NQ, if you got a full mini, hey, them points, they add up real quick. You turn around, you're like, oh shoot, I'm down, I'm down $200-300. Like, and then do you have the intestinal fortitude to sit through that pullback for it to go in your direction, right? Because you're going to start getting antsy. Whereas there's other times, like if you're actually patient and you wait, you will get that good pullback, get a good entry, see little to no drawdown, and you end up hitting your target. So I would say build a trading plan, or build a playbook of like, hey, what are your and this comes with journaling. You're gonna know, like, what are your top 3 what's your top 3 setups? right? Because if you go back and look in your notes, you should be able to see like, hey, I'm good at bull flags off of support or EMAs. I'm good at, you know, bear flags. I'm good at continuation plays, whatever it is, right? You should be able to look in your notes and see what are the top three that you tend to hit profit on, right? And if you know what those three are and you know what the probability, the hit rate, you know what the hit rate is for those three, that can be your top three go-to setups, right? That you know, like if you see it, you know what it smells like, you know what it tastes like, you know what I'm saying? Like you see it, you're like, yep, this is what it is, and you get in. Granted, right? We know the stock market is not it's not a zero-sum game, right? We know like, yes, something may have a 70% hit rate, but there's gonna be times where it just ain't gonna work. The price action doesn't follow through, and you have to be okay with that, right? You have to be okay with that. That hey, you know, I got stopped out. You know, I for me, hey, I lost $160. Damn it! Don't beat yourself up because there's always gonna be another bus coming. All right. And then for I think it was Big Red, you were talking about adding to winners. So adding this one, I don't know if anybody's read the book. The best was it the best losers win. Um, I read that book. I listened to the podcast, and it was when I was listening to that book. And I also watched some of his other YouTube videos. He talked about adding to winners. Right, like most professionals, most seasoned professionals, they add to winners, and it's not the easiest thing to do. Um, Most of us are comfortable with adding to losers, or AKA averaging down, right? Because we get in too early, it pulls back. We still have belief in that setup, right? But now we're like, oh man, you know, I'm gonna add here so I can lower my average, right? It'll work until it doesn't, right? I'm not gonna lie to you. I built into my plan. Depending on if I'm trading minis or micros, I have that built into my plan to add in to average, you know, to be able to add, right? I give myself either two, you know, one ad or two ads. If I go past that, then I know that I'm tilting and I've broken my rules. But adding to winners, I can give you an example. So let's say you get into a trade. Let's say you have one mini, right? You have one mini, and you have a target that you're looking to go to, and the price action gets strong. Price action gets strong. It's you know, you get the breakout, and you could tell by the volume that hey, like that people are along for the ride. Um, here's the hard part about adding to a winner. Adding to a winner sometimes you have to get a push, and then you may have to get a break and retest of a technical level. Like it gets past, let's say tonight, like let's say you were in, I'm watching NQ right now. So you were in NQ. Let's say you got an NQ at let's say 582. You got in at 582 and you took that long. And then you saw you're right now, you're hawking 600, right? You're looking at 600, you're hawking 600. Let's say you wanted to take profits there. That's what, 18 points. You start pushing, right? You get back over to opening, the Globex open, which was right around 590. And now you see this big strong candle here. Like you break over, you pull back to 590, and it holds that support. If you're gonna add, that would be an add point. An add point has to be a place where if you were looking at the chart, you were like, hey, you know what? If I wasn't already in this trade, I would be adding here. Or I would be getting in here, right? In the aftermarket, the NQ likes to move in tens. So chances are, if it's holding tens, it's going to give you generally between a 7 to 10 point move in that direction. So right now I'm looking at it, you know, 590 held, and now I'm thinking this thing's going to hit 600. So when it hit 590, that's an area that you could have added at. But then you have to do the math game in your head really, really quick, because one, how many points were you up when you decided to add, right?
Yeah, because it's gonna change your
Because it
average up
changes
a
your
lot.
average, right? Yep,
It's gonna move it up a lot. So
it changes your average. So you now have to manage your stop loss. Like you got to calculate your stop loss right off the bat. Like if you were already up, let's say if you were already up $200 on your first contract, and then you added right there, you got to know that, okay, hey, if it goes back this much, I'm gonna be, I'm gonna be right back at break even. So you got to do
Yeah,
the
because when you get out of it, it gets you out as the first
exactly
entry, first
first.
to last, right?
Yep, first in, first out. So when you if
First
you
in,
sell
first
that
out. Yeah.
when you sell that first contract and you see your position thing move, it could freak you out because depending on when you sell it, that it moves to your new average, and that new average, for that second contract, that could be in the red depending on when you take it off. So I would say this, adding to winners is hard with it's harder with a full mini. Like with micros, like when I play with micros, it's easier for me to add to a winner. Psychologically, it is for me. I could hold micros a lot longer. But with a mini, I mean, I have to be very, very confident in that play to add to a winning play. But I've done it before, and normally I think I had gotten this from what's his name, from Unraveler. Unraveler was talking about it, and it has to do with, if you see a level, or let's say your original entry, let's say you got in at 590, expecting to go to 600, and it goes lower. It goes lower. It almost hits your stop loss. It turns around, it comes back up, and then it reclaims that 590. But when it reclaims 590, it reclaims with a stronger candle. Then in your head, you're like, oh, like this thing, it's ready to go now, right? And you can look down at the volume bars, and you're like, okay, it's for real ready to go this now. That's when, let's say you got in a 590, it pushes to like 594, and you're like, okay, I'm gonna add here, and you add, because you're expecting that push to 600, right? Which we just did. We just went to what, 60608, I think. We just broke over this good 600 mark on NQ. Because if I look down at the volume bars, the last three 5 minute the last three 1 minute candles, the volume just went up exponentially. It doubled almost on every bar. So me sitting here looking at it as I'm talking to you guys, I'm like, hey, I think this thing's ready to go now.
Yeah, I think it's going up.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be
yeah,
asleep for
yeah. Don't
sure,
yeah, don't
but
mess with it.
I think it's going up once it breaks that trend line.
Yeah, it's looking
Uh,
like it. So, was it Big Red? I hope that answers your question. It's psychologically, it's hard to get used to doing that, because you automatically know, once you add that contract, your average changes, and then you got to reposition that stop loss. Because if you go back and hit your original stop loss, you got to think, you're gonna whatever your original drawdown was going to be, which for me is like 160, plus whatever I just added that second contract at, like I'll be screwed, that amount as well. So that second contract is gonna be more than 160 if I let it go all the way back. So now I gotta take into account, if I still want my risk to be only $160, where did I add, and how far up do I need to now drag my stop so that I still have that same amount of risk. So just
I don't need. I just add and subtract.
subtracting.
I done seen it happen. Yeah. If you want to add when you close to your entry, in my opinion, or
Hey,
you want to add when NQ done, if you in that thing and it done went 100 points down, you might want to add within that, because if you add when it's kind of close, it will push your hell. It's just math,
yeah,
average.
yeah,
Just that's
just
all it is, math.
the computer does it all, but a lot of times too is when you adjust that stop, sometimes it it sometimes increases your chances of getting stopped out. But you have
Hmm.
to, like, the volume bars, man, volume don't lie. The majority of the time, volume does not lie. And so I pay attention to that. I pay attention to what my moving averages are doing. Like, everybody has their system, but
Hmm.
you have to have you have to have conviction in that play. And then, like, when the price action is supporting it, hey, you can add. Like what an A plus setup is. The majority of us, what an A plus setup is. You know what it looks like. You have an idea what it feels like, and if you see it, like, usually seasoned traders, that's when they get aggressive. When the stars align, they'll put more risk on the table. So
Exactly. Yeah.
yeah. So that's pretty much all I have. I guess the biggest thing is, being patient. Like trading is not it's not an overnight success. Right? It's not an overnight success, or it takes time and effort to get good at doing this. Because if it was easy, fuck. Think how many more people would be doing it. And then your trading plan, aka your playbook. Like, come up with your playbook, right? Know what you're comfortable trading, and that is going to help you not have FOMO. It's going to help you lessen the amount of time you try to chase trades. Um, you know, become familiar with the product that you're trading. Right. The good thing with futures is that you have a lot less products. So it's not like you're chasing Nvidia today, AMD tomorrow, Apple the next day. You're trading the same, generally trading the same product. Like for me right now, I'm a straight up gold and NQ trader. Like I used to know ES like the back of my hand. I tried trading it in
Right,
futures
you switch sides.
and I just couldn't. I traded ES in my practice account, my practice futures account, like 6 or 7 times, and every time I just got my ass handed to me. And then I was like, you know what? Nope. Let me go back to go back to NQ, because NQ pays you quicker. And then I learned NQ, and then I started looking at gold. So like, if I go through and look at my thing, it's the majority of um, NQ and gold. That's it. That's what I'm familiar with, and that's what I kind of stick to. And just kind of perfecting your craft as you go. You make adjustments here and there. But that's what I have.
I know that's right. I need to put a few stacks by my computer. 'Cause,
Oh,
you know, 100, it ain't 50, 100.
yeah. Hey, you know what? That's good that Big Red said that. Here's the last thing. Is and I used to have this problem big time, and it centers around especially trading futures, because you don't have PDT, so you can go in and out all day if you wanted to.
Right. You
Over
gotta
trading,
get disciplined with that.
you got to think like, okay, like you got to think, okay, you're 9 to 5. I think Ari said it the other day too. Like, if in a day you make 100, it takes, let's say it takes somebody a day to make $160, like a full day, all right? And trading, you can make $160 in, you know, 10 minutes. Why when you make 160, $200, aren't you, locking it up for the day, right?
That's what I'm saying. That's that
You,
greed.
you got to think, wait, what are you trying to replace? You got to think, like, that's what we're thinking about. Like, what am I trying to replace? Because he was talking to somebody that was that I think they made $160 in a day, and he was asking like, hey, how do I replace my 9 to 5? And he was like, okay, well, the first thing you need to do is, first you need to at least be able to make what you're making now, right? So you need to at least be able to make $160 a day, but you can't quit your job at that point yet. He's like, now you need to double it. So instead of 160, you got to be able to make freaking, what is it, 320? Yeah, you got to be able to make 320. I'm not good at math in public. You got to be able to make 320, and when you can make 320 consistently, then you could talk about, walking away from that job, because now you're able to double what you were making on a day. Once you could do that, then you have the capacity to be able to walk away from that job. But you have to be able to do that consistently. Like, you have to have a track record of being able to do that. And then of course, have the requisite savings and all of that. But um, I think a lot of times we start to lose touch or connection with, like, hey, how much money we're really making in a trade, and the space of time we're making that money in. And once you lose track of that, and you start going on the rabbit hole of, like, where you like, hey, where you make $400 or $500 in like a half an hour, and that's not enough for you, like, and then you go back into the market and you give it all back, and then now you're negative $200, and now you're like, shit, you're like, crap, I gave all that shit back when I could have just logged out and gone about my business. Like a bird, what is it, a bird in hand is what is it, shit, yeah, a bird in hand is worth more than two in the bush. So don't leave the one bird that you got to go chase two in the bush. Like, lock in what you have, be grateful for it, right? Because the market's not going to give you something every day. And then yeah, focus on compounding, just being consistent and compounding. So
Oh, you better, because something gonna snatch it up. You better be
uh-huh.
focused on, one thing I was like, which I still am happy that I quit, but I was like, damn, as soon as I quit, here go Russia and Ukraine. I'm like, Jesus. Soon as I quit my job in February 2022, I think it shit popped off in was about March, probably around the same time. And so definitely just make sure stock market, in my opinion, is not going nowhere, for a long time. But I was just talking to one of my neighbors, actually two people who kind of hit me up in my complex and was talking about trading, and they were like, my old company, Wells Fargo, because she works there, said they've been laying off, and they supposed to be laying off up until 2025. And I'm like, yeah, no, you know, job security, especially with the way AI is going, like try to get a side hustle. Like if trading full time is not for everybody, so I don't push it off on people. But if you need to kind of ease into a little side hustle, if you know other people who might be interested in trading, they just kind of dragging, like Wells Fargo is a big bank. And for them, and because I was like, well, maybe they're just laying off in like the regular areas, but she was like, no, they laying off in like technology spaces, all of that, and they always got some shit going on with them anyway. So, but just as long as you can build a cushion, I feel like the stock market is gonna be around for a good time, a good long time. The jobs are getting phased out. Um, And even somebody was like, I seen somebody in the threads comment, they were like, well, I'm not worried because I'm a nurse. And somebody was like, okay, we got some robots coming, like with the nurse thing too. Like, just don't feel like you you're locked in. So definitely, if you wanna, I say that to say, if you wanna make trading something that you really want to be profitable from, lock in, because as long as the politicians politicking, just know the stock market is going to be around. So definitely just try to lock in different things. And even just from taking it away the trading aspect from it. I don't know where everybody works at if you're working. Just try to make sure you have some other sideness coming in, aside from this. Make sure you're good, because it's already a little hard out here. It's a lot of people got the same story about difficulties that I've noticed. So just lock in and really focus on, like, I ain't hold this meeting for nothing, like this Zoom for nothing. I feel like these things are important because you can trade all day, you can take signals all day, but if you ain't prepared, if you don't got no plan, you will not be successful, especially if you're struggling already and you haven't implemented anything yet. You just will not, and that's just a fact. So I'm sorry, Trini, I think I just cut you off. But go ahead. You had something?
No, 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 you good. You good. Like I said, I was I think I covered everything that I wanted to cover. I don't know if anybody has any questions for me per se. Um, let me see.
I plan to have a ongoing series. If y'all have topics, that you would like to discuss, or if we want to kind of see where we're at and just kind of focus on like moving forward, trying to build those trading plans or trying to set goals or whatever you're trying to do, then we can definitely continue to have them, because it's easier when it's a small community. Like, I don't have thousands of people, so I can engage with the small group, and it may grow, but it's easier to engage directly with somebody versus when you kind of get a little bit up there, you know, it might be harder to reach you. So I just think it's good to, you know, try and focus on things that can help you all. And if it's something that's just constantly talked about, or I don't know, but we
Yeah.
can just have other discussions and some other discussions, maybe like every 2 weeks or weekly or whatever the case is. If y'all have some topics that y'all feel like we should cover, I'm here for it, you know? So just let me know. And if I
Yeah.
find something that comes up, and I'll do a little poll on IG. And if y'all want to join, or if you want to tell a friend, whatever the case is, then, you know, I'm with it because I want people to be successful trading. And when I kind of see the same thing over and over and over and over again, then I'm just like, what can we do to kind of get people to see the bigger picture and or break it down so that people can understand. She says, so do y'all have one base strategy about multiple plays within that? For my strategies, like I said, NQ can do all of them in one day, mostly, or at least a good 3 of them in one day. So, but you locked in, so you know we'll discuss that in what class 3. We'll start that in class 3. Big Red. So yeah. Well, I don't want to hold anybody. If anybody got questions that's listening. Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, cause well, you'll see it once you start to see it. You'll be like, oh, we got this happening over here, and then because you got to read the chart on the left to know what's to see what to do on the right.
Right. Yeah. You'll see multiple. I mean,
Multiple
um,
setups
yeah, Big Red.
a
I
day.
mean, within a day, you'll see multiple things like you let's say like I said in your playbook you have 3 things that you mainly that you kind of focus in on that are your strong points. Like
Look at NQ.
chances are in a typical day in NQ, all 3 are probably going to show up at some point. Like there is, yeah, most likely it's going to show up. And it's just being able to recognize it as it's developing ahead of time and then being able to capitalize on it. But yeah, you'll like for me,
Oh, excuse me.
I am a I am a bull flag fiend. Like, I am a bull flag fiend. Like I see an impulse candle. I see an impulse candle going up. Boom. I see volume increase on it on the bottom. I look at it. I'm like, okay, cool. Now, boom, I got an extension. Once I get that extension, I mean, now I have already have my levels plotted, but I get an extension. Then I'm like, okay, right. I'm looking for 3 to 4 candles pulling back. Right. And once that pullback start
NQ
happening,
now.
I'm looking at the volume. Is the volume decreasing as those candles are pulling back? And if as they're pulling back, if the volume is decreasing and then those candles are smaller, then I'm like, oh yeah, okay. It's starting to look like something that looking like something that I like. And then right, so I'll draw a trend line on those decreasing candles, right? And then I'm looking for that break. And then so I'm looking for that break and I'm looking to see like what kind of volume comes in, like what kind of reaction it gets when that breakout candle goes. Because if that breakout candle goes and that volume bar at the bottom starts inching up, I'm gonna get in. Because I already know if I get in, if I get in as it's starting to break, I know where my $160, worth of stop. I know where that line's gonna be. And if we go there, that means the flags fail. Right. So like that's my thing. Like I'm really big on flags. And then head and shoulders, especially inverse head and shoulders, like at the bottom of a downtrend. That's like my bread and butter. Like when I granted on Friday I didn't play it the way like I should have because I wasn't expecting that much. I wasn't expected to bounce that hard, but I'm looking for inverse head and shoulders or I'm looking for it's called it's not really a 2-legged pullback, but it's I'm looking for us to set the bottom, then I'm looking for a higher low. which is what happened on Friday. We made a bottom, then we came up, you know, we made a higher low. And then once we made that higher low, like I looked at it and I was like, yeah, they're gonna take this thing up. And sure as hell they did. But I was
Yeah,
ready.
so it's a lot of strategies that
Yeah,
you, so that's to say that if you miss, there's always a trade and there's always another trading day. So if you miss one, 2 or 3 more might play in out by the end before the day ends at like at 5 o'clock. So
yep. So
okay.
me, I'm a veteran. I'm retired.
Yeah, you just retired last year, wasn't it?
Well, this October will be 2 years.
Ah, so you was just retired when we talked about okay.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm chilling.
Oh no, that's right. You
I'm
in
tell.
VA? You're in Virginia,
Yeah.
right?
Oh,
Oh,
no,
okay.
no. I was in Virginia before. I'm in Chicago.
Chirac. I gotta visit
Chi-town, man.
Chicago.
Hey,
I,
it's a beautiful city. I don't care what nobody say
I
about it.
I need to come back, I meant, because I was just there in 2021. I want to
One,
say,
okay.
yeah.
Yeah, Chicago is lit,
I'm
man.
telling
People,
you, time
it's
be flying by when you work.
yeah, for real.
Ooh.
Yeah.
All right. Well, anybody else got anything before, and like I said, I know Ari has his Sunday, stock Sundays and Felony has his thing, so I don't want to hold anybody from attending those. So any questions, comments, concerns?
All right. Appreciate it.
All right. Well, if it's nothing else, I thank y'all for joining. I'm probably gonna post this to my YouTube channel. I'm probably gonna start trying to build up some content there. So
Cool, cool.
all right. Well, y'all have a great rest of your day. It looks like NQ is breaking.
I'm telling you, man,
So
like
it's
I was
breaking to the upside.
when I was sitting
So
here talking, I was itching like as I was using it as an
right.
example, I was like this thing is
It's
looking so good right here for this
it
because
is.
590 was the Globex Open. The open for this afternoon. It was right there like at 590. So I was like, then I seen a fair value gap print. I was like, man, this thing is at a minimum, you get 10 points. I was like a minimum, this thing's gonna go back to 600, and this will be the second trip up there. I was like, it'll
Yeah,
probably
that
break.
600 was tough.
Yeah.
600 was a tough. It was one of them. That it was it 600? Yeah, yeah, yeah. It was 600. It
Yeah,
was
what
it
was
was
that?
tough
That
from
eight.
looking at
If
that
you look at,
early.
if you look at the 1 minute, the 8 o'clock candle. After I seen the 8 o'clock candle, that's when I was like, yeah, because we had that pullback. Because what was it? The 756 candle pushed up, and then we had those 3 candles that pulled back, 1, 2, 3, and then I
Hmm.
seen that big impulse candle at on the 8 o'clock candle. I was like, yeah, this thing's gonna go.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You're right. McRae, but let me stop because we're gonna keep on.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
Trader Talk. You keep
yeah.
Trader
All right,
Talk is exciting, y'all. It's
yeah,
exciting.
I'm about to get off of here. I'm gonna go. Actually, I need to go run the store, get me something to sip on, and I'm chill for the rest of the night.
Yeah, I do need me some alcohol. I had a few drinks when I was in Orlando and
Uh,
Boston, so I might just relax, but
yeah.
we'll see.
All
All
right, well,
right,
hey,
y'all. Thank
yeah,
y'all
have a
for
good night.
joining, and y'all have a good night.
All right, I'm out.
Mhm.